Tippy time, my damies, Top Cat here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be back on our Arc 3.0 Titan. Today's build is kind of centered around the fact that Titans should be tanks. My friend Havoc always wanted the Titan to be a tank class. This is an MMO after all. So we've tried to make this as tanky as possible, have as much resilience as possible, so we can just lay down suppressive fire to control the battlefield. This build will be quite basic at heart, but once you got a couple of mods in the right place, it is super fun. So we're going to be using the Actium war rig. This has an armor perk called Auto Loading Link. This will steadily reload a portion of your equipped auto rifle or light machine gun from reserves. This provides moderate benefit to airborne effectiveness stat of auto rifle and LMGs additionally. So at its core, the simple act of not having to reload is very, very beneficial. It just allows us to lay down on that trigger and never be caught off guard by things that are charging at us when you're sitting there behind that crate reloading. We don't have to deal with that, so we just are kept in the field of play a lot longer. Equally, this is the same case for our LMG use. LMGs have gone up in stock. They got buff upon buff upon buff, and so they're finally sitting in a decent place now. We also have Overload as a seasonal mod for our LMGs, so they're a lot more viable in in-game content than they ever have been before as well, and they're just really good at clearing out waves of ads that otherwise might be a little bit too tough for you. And it's worth being noted that you set up for an encounter, right? So not every encounter is going to require a Lament or a Izanagi or a Gallahorn, you know? So this middle event here in the dungeon, for example, is just waves of ads, you know? So an LNG is a perfectly good use. On Golgoroth here, I'm controlling the gaze, so the Taken Blights are going to be flying at me, and just a nice sustained rate of fire weapon is just really good for this, and I don't have to reload, so I'm never caught unaware when those balls are flying at me mid-reload and I get whacked in the face with it. So very, very good in this situation as well. And because this season we have anti-barrier auto rifle mod, we're going to be using the Sweet Business. Now the catalyst, when this weapon is fully spun up, the incoming flinch is going to be greatly reduced. Its perk, Business Time, sustained fire boosts range and rate of fire. And its intrinsic trait, I should say, Payday, larger magazine, increased accuracy when firing from the hip. And when you pick up special or heavy ammo, this also immediately reloads to full. And as you just witnessed there, because we have the anti-barrier rounds, we can shoot straight through Legionnaires' shields, those pesky little Spartan shields on the Scorn, the Vex Hydra shields, you can shoot straight through that, so nice easy damage. You're not having to wait for a damage cycle, but primarily we want to get these pesky barrier champs, and we just lay down suppressive fire, not have to worry about reloading. We're always ready for when they put that shield up, and so we just keep that damage going and just mow these puppies down with ease, even when you're playing 20 light under recommended. So the great thing about this build is we are utilizing the thruster class ability. So when you're grounded, you double press B and you do the little dodge. It has a base cooldown of 30 seconds, but that's at base, right? So we're a Titan, so of course we're going to be running 100 resilience, and that's going to drop that cooldown down to a nice easy 10 seconds. So we're going to have this dodge available to us all the time, making it a great maneuverability tool so we can get into the fray and out of the fray with ease. Now we want this because we're using Reaping Wellmaker. So after activating our class ability, your next weapon final blow will create a void well. We use this with Well of Tenacity. We're double stacking this on our gauntlets as well, using elemental time dilation to stack these up, and we'll be using Seeking Wells to bring those wells to us with ease. So we just simply dodge, get a weapon kill, and the void well will track to us, and then we get that bonus resilience for 12 seconds. So we've got a class ability for 10-second cooldown and resistance for 12 seconds. So you can see the loop here. As long as we're dodging, getting a kill, dodging, getting a kill, dodging, getting a kill, we've always got this mad resistance buff. And this is what allows us to get into the prey, get nice and close in there. This is a 1600 Nightfall. It's got light pulls, so we've always got low health as well. We've got the mad resistance, and we're just not all that worried. We can just run straight in there with our Sweet Business and mow down champions left, right, and center. Now we will be using the arc fragment spark of focus. After sprinting for a short time, your class ability regeneration is increased. This will cut about 3 seconds off your class ability, so you can get that class ability regen in about 7 seconds. Is very good for getting that class ability back when you need it, because when you do need it, you really want it. Our next fragment will be Spark of Resistance. Whilst we are surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. So our resistance values stack. Okay, so Spark of Resistance is going to give us 30% resistance. Then running 100 resilience on a Titan is 40%. And then our Well of Tenacity is 50%. Okay, so if you do the math, that's 120% resistant to incoming damage. So this allows us to tank so much more, so we can be in that field of play, just raining down bullets. And at 20 under light, just watch me chew through those night shields. We are going to be using knockout, okay? So when we critically wound a target, our melee gets infused, giving us increased range and damage. This is also going to give us health back when we get kills. We're using Spark of Feedback. Taking melee damage briefly increases the outgoing melee damage additionally as well. I like this combination because it's a if and when you need it situation. And so when you are getting punched and you're only Titan counter, that's when you want that heal the most. We're using the Thunderclap melee. This is new. You hold it down and it charges up over time, and you release it after about 3 seconds for a very powerful melee. But you can also just tap it if you want and just get that reactive thing, and it's still pretty powerful. In this situation, I was 20 under light for this Nightfall here, and it's just smacking down ads, okay, so still very strong. For this build, I was using the Lightning Grenade. This grenade sticks to the wall and detonates periodically over time. I found this a very good tactical choice, as we are running the Touch of Thunder arc aspect, and the Lightning Grenade, we're going to get an additional Lightning Grenade charge, and this will also jolt targets it hits, so I don't have to run the jolt aspect. I can now run the Spark of Ions, so defeating jolted targets creates ionic traces. So frees up a slot that we want, so we can add more resilience, and we get to use the grenades as we want. You can see the jolt is always great on any arc grenade, but having it infused into it is just that much easier. Now when it comes to super, I'm still using a T-Crash. You know, we're not using Cura, so it doesn't have that really great damage, but at the end of the day, it is still burst damage, and burst damage is what it takes to take down champs and bosses with quick efficiency. Now in terms of my special weapon, I have been using the Compass Rose shotgun. I like this precision frame. I run a boss spec on it, ballable weapon, so I can drop champs and do damage to bosses with great ease, but you can run whatever shotgun you want. I just like this, as we are also running Unstop mod on our build. That way we can just cover all our bases, so we're ready for any in-game content that we're going to have thrown at us. This is why we've made space for surge detonators. That way we can always disrupt champions of overload nature as well. So that way we got barrier, unstop and overload all sorted with this build. Now we are also using trace evidence, so when we defeat combatants that are affected by arc debuffs, in this case our grenades jolt, we're also going to get ionic traces. Heavy weapon, I've been maining the Fine Memorial, but really use any LNG you want. You know, I find this works in terms of just slaying out, killing guardians, whether it's in Gambit or doing, you know, ad clear, champion clear, just any LNG will do. It really comes down to your personal preference, but feel free to mix it up and find one that suits your playstyle. There are a couple of fun exotic LMGs to choose from. Grand Overture is quite niche, so I'll probably lean towards the Thunderlord for an arc one. Then you also got the Heir Apparent for that Mad Overshield and Mad Eau Claire, and Xeno for great tactical damage as well. So many options to choose from. Have at it. On your armor, you're going to want to run a Machine Gun Scavenger and a Shotgun Scavenger. Machine Gun Reserves are always helpful, and I'm running a Void Resist mod, Machine Gun Ammo Finder, and a Harmonic Siphon just because. And that's pretty much the build for today, my folks. So pretty much we're just going to do a dodge, get the kill, and that's going to drop us the well. That's going to give us the extra resistance. That way we can just go ham, just laying down suppressive fire and killing everything in sight. We have so much resistance, we can just run around full tits with the trigger held down. and I love that we finally feel like a tank class. So if you did enjoy this video, please hit that thumbs. If you are new and you enjoyed it, please hit that sub. If you've got any questions or suggestions, feel free to chuck it in the comments down below. And until next time, tippy tie my damies, what a tie.